Good day. This is Dr. Kgabo again, your lecturer for the module TPF3703, which is teaching practice for third year in b.ED foundation phase. Today, I'm going to discuss with you assessment 3, or which is also known as portfolio 50. This is how I look. Video outline 2023 assessment 3 or portfolio 50 or assessment 50 requirements. Assessment 50 of 2023 teaching practice for third year comprises the following. It is for the grades R and grade 1. And the theory modules which you will be expected to plan and present lessons on at the school where you are placed by the teaching practice office are the following. Mathematics for foundation phase teachers, reading in foundation phase, home language teaching, resource development in foundation phase, inclusive education in foundation phase. This is a year module. There is no way that you can say, I'm repeating, so can I complete by June so I can graduate? No, it doesn't work that way. It's a year module from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. For this module, until the 28th of September, 2023, when it's the due date of submission. And while I'm at that, please do not wait until the end of the month, September, to submit. The content of tutorial letter 105. This is where you will find your portfolio 50 or assessment 50 or assessment 3. It is in tutorial letter 105. You will find general information, the structure of teaching practice, portfolio 50, introduction, additional resources, announcements made on my UNISA. Please don't come back to me and tell me that announcements are not legal or they are not valid. Remember, UNISA is an open distance e-learning institution where we use the different platforms, e-platforms, to communicate with our students. And because this is done on UNISA platform, all these are legal, legitimate. General rules for submitting assignments, assessments, portfolios for teaching practice. Instruction for teaching practice, portfolio 50. Student declaration, student's declaration form, attendance register of student teacher at school, attach proof of placement from the teaching practice office here, UNISA supervisor evaluation. General, that's the general information. You need to complete the entire teaching practice for 5 weeks. Not 50, 5 weeks of teaching practice for TPF3703, which consists of 5 weeks of teaching, 5 weeks of learning in practice, and it is face-to-face. Nothing is online and nothing is a case study here. The structure of your teaching practice is as follows. Assignment 50, your workbook contributes 50%. If you pass the one workbook and fail the other, automatically you fail. So, what does portfolio 50 entail? Mathematics, a lesson for mathematics foundation phase, reading for foundation phase, home language teaching, resource development, and inclusive education in foundation phase. Right? It's 1 full week in grade R, which is 5 school days, 1 full week in grade 1, which is 5 school days, and it calculates to 2 weeks or 10 school days. General rules for submitting assessments, assignments, portfolios for teaching practice. Please note that the only mode of submission is online. You must submit your assignments for teaching practice as soon as you have completed your 5 weeks learning from practice activities that you have to do for this portfolio 50. Remember the following. When submitting an assessment or an assignment online via MyUnisa, you need to complete the general student information. You need to write clearly, no typing. You write clearly. Save the file as your student number, your surname, the module code, and assignment number to ensure that you upload the correct file. Please, once you have uploaded, I've already explained previously that we as lecturers do not have the right nor the authority to interfere with ICT functions. We don't even have access to ICT functions where you upload your assessments. So you will be sending requests to a wrong person if you ask me as your lecturer to open the portal for you to resubmit. I am not responsible for that. And to avoid mistakes, please remember the following. You write your student number, your surname, your module code, and the assessment number. When you have the assessment number, then you will know which portfolio to upload in which portal. Submit your portfolio correctly under the correct assignment number and ensure that you have the correct content in your assignment. Don't say, I by mistake submitted assignment 2 in the portal for portfolio 50. It's already a fail and there's nothing I can do about that. Please. That is why you have to prepare long in advance and make sure that the place where you are submitting is not cluttered. Remove all clutter so that you are aware what you are submitting. Uploading your assignments onto MyUnisa. Take note of the following regarding the submission of your assignments via MyUnisa. Use the correct assignment number and content. Use your correct student number. Ensure that the pages are clear. If you don't know how to do it, go and seek assistance there at the regions. All the region offices have got very nice people who are always there to assist students and support you. If you go to an internet cafe, make sure that the people who are assisting you know what they are doing. Ensure that the pages are clear, in the correct chronological order, and on the right side up. You may upload one PDF document. You may only upload one PDF document. You may not upload an MS Word document or a zipped file. You may not upload a PDF read-only document, then we can't mark it. You're going to get a 0 there. The system is open for teaching practice modules for large PDF files only up to a certain megabyte in size. Please check the system to establish the size of the document that you can upload. The recording of the receipt of your assessment or assignment on the system occurs automatically. There's no person who sits and waits for everybody to submit. It's the system which captures all that. Read the details that we give you on MyUnisa regarding the uploading requirements. Please do not submit assignments via post. We no longer mark hard copies. Everything is marked online. If you submit an incorrect assignment portfolio to us, you automatically obtain a 0% for it. You may not resubmit your assignment. If you submit an incorrect one to us as an error, we cannot offer you the opportunity to resubmit. Unfortunately, I've already cited that we as lecturers do not have access to all the portals for submissions. It's an ICT function. We do not release individual assignment marks for the purpose of the final result of the teaching practice examination module. Instead, we release the final mark at the end of the year for the purpose of the teaching practice module. You must pass the module in the year in which you register for. The Early Childhood Education Department, where your qualification is based, does not provide for the module rollover to the following year. You must complete the module before the due date in the year of your registration. Furthermore, you will receive your final portfolio mark in December, as it is an examination portfolio. We provide no individual marks for each portfolio. Instructions for teaching practice. This is a fill-in examination workbook, meaning that you must answer the questions in the spaces provided. Use the space as well as the mark allocation as a guide to how much you must write. In questions where we require a yes or no answer, along with an explanation, 1 mark will generally be awarded for writing yes or no, and the remaining marks will go towards recognizing how you have substantiated your answer. Portfolio 50, it entails the following. You need to complete and submit this UNISA workbook as is. Do not redesign your workbook. In line with the POPI Act, always hide the learners' faces when you take photos. Failure to do so will result in penalties. Don't show children's faces. We are not allowed to do so. Remember to make backups of your work immediately. We will not accept such reasons as stolen cell phones, laptops that have crashed, and corrupt files if you lose the evidence that you have indeed completed and submitted the assessments. Best wishes with your studies and enjoy the teaching practice experience. You need to submit only the pages that follow for your assessment portfolio 50. Ensure that your work is handwritten and not typed. General information assessment 50. Provide all the information for which we ask. Student name and surname, student number, postal address, email address, that is your My Life email address. If you write any other email, you lose marks. Contact details. And here, please don't write not applicable. The answers are yes or no. Are you permanently employed at your school of placement? Yes or no. Are you an intern or assistant teacher at your school of placement? Yes or no. Are you employed outside the education sector? Yes or no. Do not write not applicable, please. Your signature as a student, as well as your name and surname. If you provide incomplete information, your result will be a 0. Student declaration. May I say to you, go and read the meaning of what a declaration is. Here you are declaring, you are swearing like at court with your hand on the Bible that you as a student, listen, here it says first, if you make an incomplete declaration, your result will be a 0. You are saying, I, Michelle van Tonder, declare that Portfolio 50 is my own work. I take note of the following examination rules. All the photographs or ideas that I have used are my own. You see, you make the declaration. And if you put something which is not your own, we're going to fail you because will be a false declaration. I have kept a copy of the workbook and it is in safekeeping. I know that I have submitted the correct assignment 50. I further declare that I have not previously submitted this work or part of it for another assessment. I have seen students who submit and recycle their work and submit in other assessments, or take last year's work and submit it as this year's work. It's a fail, automatic fail, no discussions, no negotiations. I further declare that I have not provided any fellow student with a copy of my workbook to use for their own assessments. I'm fully aware that the signatures in my assessment must be original signatures. I hope you read that clearly. And that no signature may be cut and pasted into the documents. As this is a final examination portfolio, no resubmission, late submission will be allowed. There is no opportunity for a remarking of a final examination portfolio. I must submit this assessment after completing the school-based teaching practice at my school of placement. Any plagiarism found will be considered dishonest and disciplinary steps will consequently be taken by the university. You may only use photographs that you take from the internet, provided that you are given permission to find photographs and ideas on the internet. But also when you find them, please, you need to disclose who the source is. Then you write your name and surname in full, your student number, your signature, your date in full, which is the day, the year, the month. Student declaration. This declaration form is compulsory and you must sign it to be able to do module TPF3703. Complete the student declaration form on academic honesty against plagiarism for all your written assignments and attach the form to the front of each assignment when you submit it to the university. The purpose of this declaration form is to ensure the authenticity, truth, and legitimacy of each written assignment, and that actual learning took place. You must complete and sign this declaration form. You are not signing this form. And you are going to be found to have committed plagiarism, could result in the withdrawal of your portfolio 50. I hope you get that right. The declaration by you as a student is, I, Sophia Lauren, full name of the student, hereby declare that all the work presented in this assessment is my own. I understand the consequences of plagiarism. I have read and understood the following UNISA policies: the policy for copyright and plagiarism, the policy on academic integrity, the student disciplinary code, the student signature, that's your signature, the date on which you completed it, day, month, and year, your student number, and your contact phone number. Then you will have a witness who will sign, write the date, and the witness telephone number. This is what comprises TPF 3703 assignment 15. It is lesson 1 is maths foundation phase teachers. Lesson 2 is reading in foundation phase. Lesson 3 is home language teaching. Lesson 4 is resource development. Lesson 5 is inclusive education in foundation phase, right? That's for grade R. For grade 1, it's still the same. MFP 1501, lesson 1, lesson 2, RFP 2601, Lesson 3, HLT 3701. Lesson 4, RDF 2601. Lesson 5, IFP 3701. Grade R lesson. What I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to take you through the lessons. And once I've taken you through the lessons, I will take you through how to complete your lesson plan and how your mentor, not you, your school-based or classroom-based mentor needs to complete the mentor evaluation form. Learners in grade R, that is your MFP lesson. Learners in grade R already know how to solve real-life situations. Through story sums, use the learner's situation to add and subtract numbers between 1 and 10. Carefully take one of the milestones you are expected to cover by the time you are in school. Your mentor teacher will be of great assistance in your planning of the lesson. Your role as a teacher is to introduce the story. Your role as a teacher to introduce the story is very important to guide learners to resolve their addition and subtraction concepts at the grade R level and at the given number range. Remember to use the lesson template provided for the purpose of structuring your lesson clearly. Lesson 2, reading for foundation phase. The ability of grade R learners to engage in shared reading is commendable. Shared reading takes place with the whole class during the shared reading focus time. Shared reading takes place cooperatively when the teacher and learners read together from one large text, or the teacher reads and the learners repeat and read the same until the learners learn to read the text. Discussions also form part of this process. Plan a shared reading lesson. Keep the characteristics of the shared reading approach, grade level of complexity, and process of reading development in mind when planning your lesson. Be creative. Create personal and practical experiences for learners so that learning is meaningful. Take note. Practice under the guidance of your mentor teacher. Use the lesson plan template provided to plan your lesson. Attach a photo of the cover of the selected text under the resource section of your lesson plan. Lesson 3, Home Language Teaching 3701, Grade R. In grade R, perceptual work is extremely important because it underpins and prepares the foundations for future learning. You find this in the Department of Basic Education, TEPS document 2012. Plan a lesson that you will teach in grade R class while sitting on the carpet area to develop the learner's listening and speaking skills. Number 2, the instruction there. Use 2 resources that you have created or are available in the environment to enhance the learner's learning. Instruction 3, take 2 pictures of the resources that you will use and attach them to your workbook as evidence. Number 4, use the template provided at the end of the tutorial letter to write your lesson plan. Lesson 4, grade R, that is RDF. Here, it is talking about Howard Gardner's application of multiple intelligences. Grade R learners possess multiple skills that the foundation phase teacher should identify and develop at an early stage. They all enjoy play, indoor and outdoor, singing, dancing, scribbling, and others, but everyone excels in one way or the other. As early as the age of 3 to 6, children surprise the world by showcasing excellence in speaking, good memory, dancing, and other unexpected skills and performances. It is therefore of vital importance for the teachers of these young ones to support them in class towards unleashing their potential. Okay? Howard Gardner, a developmental psychologist, believed that learning styles should rather be referred to as intelligence and uses the question, how are you smart? Instead of how smart are you? His theory suggests 8 multiple intelligences that people engage in when processing information, like the learning styles above. One is never used independently from the others, but one might be more inherently dominant. That is the multiple intelligence picture there. Now they say here, practice under the guidance of your mentor teacher. Use the lesson plan template provided to plan your lesson. Attach a photo cover of the selected text under the resource section of your lesson. Lesson 5 for grade R. Pre-writing skills are taught in grade R and are aimed at developing the learner's visual discrimination, gross and fine motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and body image. Design a differentiated lesson plan for grade R learners where you develop the pencil control and handwriting. Use the tiered teaching approach to respond to the diverse learning needs of your learners. Use the lesson template provided to present the lesson face-to-face. In your lesson, make sure that you outline your aim and learning outcomes in detail and adapt the content and the levels of support to meet the diverse learning needs. Clearly indicate different activities that will be used to develop the skill. List all the resources that will be used during this lesson. Also, outline the different activities that learners will do during the lesson. From your lesson, write all the problems or difficulties that you have identified that learners experience. Use the lesson template provided for your lesson. Note the activities are structured as follows. You've got activity 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. And also use the following source to refer to: IFP 3701 Study Guide 001. May I pause here and explain that you all have study material under additional study material on your module side of TPF 3703. I'm not going to go through lesson 1 to 5 of grade 1. You have it and you will read it. I will not undermine your intelligence as students. What I want to take time to go through is the lesson plan. Now, listen, we minus for every mistake that you commit, it is a minus a mark. Let's say you have 100%, and for every mistake, we will be minusing. If you did not complete your student name and number, a mark is deducted. You need to write the date, the grade and the date, which is the year, the month, and the date. The content area and what is the subject. The type of lesson indicated, the theme of the week, the name of the school, the name of the teacher, the outcomes. You need to tell us what the outcomes are, what the learner will be able to do at the end of the lesson, or what you expect the learner to know at the end of the lesson. Concepts and new knowledge of the lesson from the curriculum, write them down. If it's empty, we deduct marks. Differentiation provided, enrichment, learner support, and then also consents. You write that. Lesson preparation, that other top one was the administrative part of your lesson plan. Now, lesson presentation, write your introduction in full. Remember, you use learners' prior knowledge. So take the prior knowledge of the lesson or of the learners in the theme that you will be teaching, or the concept that you will be teaching or the content that you will be teaching. Write the prior knowledge of the student. Make it very interesting. You are requested to be creative. Write the introduction in full. In the body of the lesson, that's where you tell us, this is what I taught the learners. You are there to be guided by your teacher, by the way, the mentor teacher who is classroom-based or school-based on how to do this. Consolidation or the conclusion. How did you conclude this, the lesson? Don't say we sang a song. What song did you sing? Did the song relate to the lesson that you were teaching? Did the story that you told at the end of the lesson relate to the content of what you were teaching? Assessment, you as an assessor, did the student involve the learners? The mentor teacher must tell us there if you included the students, did you include the learners in your lesson? Did you pair the learners to do complete an action? Was there evidence of inclusion? What inclusion are we talking of? Those slow learners, the average learners, and those who are extremely fast. Did you include all the different types of learners you have in the school? And you also have to tick there, self-assessment, peer assessment, teacher assessment. You need to complete that type of activity. Which activities did you do with the learners? Participation, written work, demonstration, or models, strategy or methods of assessing. Which one did you use to assess the learners? Did you use questioning, listening, writing, observation, interpreting, reading, reviewing, watching a video, listening, or comprehension? Assessment instrument. Which instrument did you use to assess those learners in your class? Did you use an assessment scale or a checklist or analytical rubric or interpreting rubric or other? If it's other, please write which other did you use. Student self-reflection. In this self-reflection, tell us if you think you were successful when you were teaching the student or not. Resources, add pages if you need any. Now, I deliberately went through each and every lesson. They told you, take pictures of resources. If this space is empty, you lose marks. For every section, mini next section, no matter how small or how big, if you did not complete it, you lose marks. Now, the teacher evaluation, mentor teacher evaluation. Here we ask the teacher, how did you assist the student with the lesson planning? Remember, you are not there independently. You are semi-independent in the third year. You work with a mentor teacher. He or she needs to be there to assist you. When did the student provide the completed lesson plan to you? Before or after the lesson? I prefer that you give them before so that they can correct you or help you to improve your lesson. Planning, question to be answered, not yet achieved, almost achieved, achieved, and excellent. Outcomes. Were the outcomes achieved? Firstly, they should write yes, and then we tick on not achieved, almost achieved, achieved, or excellent. Concepts and new knowledge of the lesson. Were the concept and new knowledge explained? Your mentor teacher needs to comment and then tick the appropriate box there. Differentiation, provided. Enrichment, learner support concerns, where the types of questions posed accommodative of learners with different learning abilities. He or she needs to comment before making ticks. Making ticks and not commenting will cause you to lose marks. Commenting and not ticking, you lose marks also. Lesson presentation, the introduction. Was the introduction relevant? Yes or no? And then tick the box. Was the introduction interesting? And did it capture the learner's attention? Yes or no? Tick the relevant box. Was prior knowledge included? Yes or no? Tick the correct box. If none of those is done, you lose marks. Was the lesson content aligned with the learning outcomes? And comment yes or no and tick the correct box. Were the activities appropriate for the grade? Yes or no and tick the relevant box. Was the lesson learner-centered? Yes or no? Tick the correct box. Did the student use rhymes, poems, a song, listening comprehension, activity, or any other activity to consolidate the lesson? Yes, tick the correct thing, or circle the right thing which the student used and tick the right box. Consolidation or conclusion? Did the student, okay, I started with it, sorry about that. Was the lesson integrated with other subjects? Remember, in foundation phase, we integrate lessons, especially in grade R. It would be either a yes or a no, and tick the correct or the relevant box. Assessment. What type of assessment was used in the lesson? They must tick if it was self-assessment, peer assessment, teacher assessment. The type of activity, was it participation, written work, demonstrations, or models? Tick the correct one. Strategy methods, was it questioning or listening or writing or observation or reading or interpreting or reviewing or watching videos? Tick the relevant one. Strategy, like we did before, you will tick where it says not yet achieved, achieved, almost achieved, or excellent. Was it the most suitable strategy? Yes or no? And tick the correct box. Were learners actively involved? Yes or no? Tick the relevant box. Assessment instrument, the checklist, assessment scale, analytical rubric, interpreting rubric, and others. Tick the correct one. Were the assessment instruments used appropriately for the grade? Please write if it did or not, if the student did or not. Was inclusivity visible in the use of these instruments? Yes or no? Mentor reflection, teacher mentor reflection. You as a teacher or your school-based or classroom-based teacher should reflect here to say, this is how I found the lesson. This is how I find that the student excelled in, or this is where the student still needs to improve. Not just great. Every person has room for improvement. Let your mentor teacher be honest and grade you appropriately. Resources. Were the resources suitable for the lesson? Yes or no? Were the resources visible to the learners? Don't use small pictures. Bring big things, but not scary things to children when you teach them as resources. Were the resources used to enhance the learning of the new content for the learners? I'm sorry, there is also mentor signature at the bottom. If the mentor did not sign, you lose marks also. The attendance register, I've already explained in assignment 2 how your attendance register must be completed. The date must be the year, the month, and the date. And please, no public holidays, no school holidays. If you are in an independent school with different school holidays, make us aware at the top and also attach the school calendar or just embed it close to where you will be to your attendance register. Your name, your surname, your student number, the name of the school, the address of the school, both your cell number and that of the school. The email address of the school should be written. You as a student should sign on each date. The mentor should also sign, okay? And for each grade, it is 5 days. You miss one grade, it's a fail. You miss one day, it's a fail because it will no longer be 25 days. If it's less than 25 days, it's a fail because you are not meeting the minimum requirements of teaching or of teacher education and the d.ED regulations. Furthermore, here it's a declaration. This declaration is made by the principal or the head of the department or the mentor teacher that they will circle if it's the principal or the head of department, or the mentor teacher. I, Sophia van der Merwe, the principal or head of department or mentor teacher at the school, confirm that. Don't write for the person who is declaring. This is a declaration, okay? Confirm that Anastasia Leroux has attended or did not attend her full teaching practice period, and then the signature and the date and the school stamp. The school stamp must have a signature, please. Then after that, you attach proof of placement from the teaching practice office. You don't do this, you lose a lot of marks, or we don't even take that your work is authentic. Don't fail unnecessarily. This will cause you to fail. Then here, it will be completed by the school-based mentor if the external moderator did not come to visit you. Don't write to me and say, the supervisor did not come. No, 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 not like that. If the supervisor, external supervisor, who is sent by the teaching practice office, not by me, the lecturer, the teaching practice office is responsible for dispatching external supervisors to schools, not us. If the external supervisor came, then you attach the supervisor report. If the external supervisor did not come, then the school-based mentor, classroom-based mentor will complete this section for you. In closing, I would like to say, you need to be disciplined. Discipline is based on pride. I mean, good pride, on meticulous attention to details, and on mutual respect and confidence. Discipline must be a habit so ingrained that it is stronger than the excitement of the goal or the fear of the failure. And that is by Gary Ryan Blair. Be disciplined. Have pride in your work. Give meticulous attention to details of your work. I am respecting you, and I expect the same form of respect from you as a student, and also respect in the form of the type of work you are sending. Please don't send me shoddy, careless work. Take pride in the work and be confident. Discipline must be a habit in you. It must be ingrained in you, and it must be stronger than the excitement of passing or the fear of failure. I thank you, dear students. And that is the end of my walkthrough with you for teaching practice 3, portfolio 50, assessment 3, or also assessment 50. I wish you all the best with your teaching practice. We will meet again when I'll be recording for you a walkthrough teaching practice 3, portfolio 51, assessment 4, which is assessment tutorial letter 106. Thank you.